What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about Magic Awaken, the Harry Potter open world RPG, a game that we've talked quite a bit about on the channel that I do greatly appreciate anybody that watches these. I really do. Thank you so much for your support and for watching all these videos I've already made talking about it. And this video, is again kind of like a what now? What now? What's going on kind of situation with Magic Awaken. I've made a lot of these, and I truly like and love making these videos almost more than any other video on the channel because this game fascinates me to no end. I think about it maybe daily, and is that bad for my mental health? For sure. But this is a game that excites me a ton and I think has so much potential, but a game that's just maddening. And I've talked about it multiple times leading into E3 saying, is this the time? Is this the time we actually get an announcement of Magic Awaken? Once E3 was over, I talked about, well, what's going on? Why didn't we get it? Where could we see it? Then all of a sudden there were people that commented on that video that said, look for July. Look for July to be the time that Magic Awaken could come out. There was a leak by a former studio employee that said that's what's going to happen. And I talked about that leak. I talked about how, sometimes you can't follow those things because it could be just a grudge match between that employee. It's very possible that person did work for them. In fact, I think the facts do show that person did work for them. But there's just so much more there that it's not something that you can 100% believe. And here we are. We're in August. Nothing happened. And the question now becomes, what's going on again? What's going on part 2 or what now? And I talked about it in that video and I said, if this doesn't happen, do we just give up? Do I mentally, step out of it? I think I actually talked about it. I messaged or I commented back to a lot of you guys and I said, if this doesn't happen, I'm ready to just peace out and come back when the announcement actually happens. I'm not ready to do that. I think there's still a lot more to me of talking about this game. I'm enjoying talking about this game without knowing anything about it. We talked about Voldemort, but we talked about more like who could be in this game, even if it being taken place in the 1800s. I really enjoy making that video, and I want to make more of those kinds of videos. But when it comes to what next, we're running out of options. We have Gamescom, and here's the thing about Gamescom. I made a video talking about Ghost of Tsushima, a Sony first-party makers of Sly Cooper, makers of Infamous, Sucker Punch, who's making a game Ghost of Tsushima. I talked about how because Sony's going to Gamescom, they didn't go to E3, they weren't there, they didn't do anything. Maybe this is the time to announce it. And I talked about Gamescom in general, and I've always have looked at Gamescom being that kind of place that it's kind of like the secondary to E3, but that doesn't necessarily make it worse. It's a chance for developers and publishers that didn't really show up very much or at all at E3 to take center stage. It's in the UK, or it's in Europe, so it's not over. I think it's in Germany, right? So it's not in the United States. Some people or some publishers can't even travel to E3, so not everybody can get there. And sure, not everybody can get to Gamescom either, but it definitely opens the door. It was basically what I'm saying. It opens the door for people or games that weren't at E3 or were very rarely talked about E3 that kind of got the spotlight taken from them by the bigger corporations and the bigger well-known games. It gives them a chance to go. And this is a good chance for those games to get announced. Now, Warner Bros. Was at E3, and Warner Bros. Is the publisher to Cyberpunk. I keep kind of forgetting that, and I do think that definitely does matter. CD Projekt Red, highly rated development studio, making obviously a very big game, what could very well be Game of the Year next year when it comes out, and Warner Bros. Is the publisher for that. So that's a very big deal to them, and that, I think, was their center thing at E3. And I did talk about that, when it comes to the Arkham game, when it comes to Harry Potter Magic Awaken, or just Magic Awaken, let's call it, when it comes to those games, you can't really announce them at the same time. I think if you announce a new Arkham game from Warner Bros. Montreal, and then you announce Magic Awaken, one of them is going to take away from the other. I 100% do believe the Magic Awaken game would take away from the Batman game. I'd be, equally, honestly excited for both of these games. They're two of my favorite, ideas. The Arkham franchise is one of my favorite franchises ever, and especially because of what that studio has gone through and how long it's taken them and all the canceled projects, I don't think they want their game to immediately have the hype taken from them by another studio that works for the same publisher. That's not, I don't think that's what they want. So Gamescom is, again, an interesting idea. Is this where we get the announcement of one of these two games? I talked about it before where I see the Game Awards as a very possible idea to announce one of them. Jeff Keighley in the Game Awards has that connection announcement with them. They technically have it with Rocksteady, but at the same time, Rocksteady published by Warner Bros., where they announced Batman Arkham City way back in the day. So, you know, that's a long time ago. That was like, what, 2010? That was a very, very long time ago that happened, but still, the connection is there, and the Game Awards always is trying to become bigger, trying to become like a mainstream, you know, award show, basically, for video games. They need big announcements, and the last year, I truly didn't believe they had any. I think Crash, honestly, Crash Team Racing, which was leaked the day before, that, I feel like, was their biggest announcement. There were a couple others, but I think that was the biggest one. So when it comes to this year, I think if you announce a Magic Awaken, or you announce an Arkham, whatever you want to call it, Crisis, that would be the biggest thing at the Game Awards. At the same time, no matter what happens, that means you're not announcing the other one at the Game Awards. I don't think you can announce both, and if you've announced 0 of them before the Game Awards, you get to the Game Awards, you announce one of them, well, what happens to that other one? The announcement gets pushed even further. There's a heavy belief in the Arkham community that the new Arkham game is a 2020 game, hopefully before next gen. I believe it is a current gen game. So does that come first? Because Harry Potter at this point does very much seem like a next-gen game. In which case, let's revise everything I've said. Does the Arkham game get announced at Gamescom this year? And then does Magic Awaken get announced at the Game Awards? It would make sense. The Magic Awaken game could then come out maybe, I doubt it comes out next fall. I'm thinking more spring 2021, to be honest with you. Does that then happen? That gives it about a year from the announcement to when it comes out. That sounds about right. No matter what, we're at another conference show, and the chances of these things being announced, there's another chance here. Are the chances high? I think a lot of people are losing hope. A lot of people are kind of just done with it. I've seen a lot of that from the Batman Arkham community, where it's just like, hey, your employees have been teasing this game for like a year. We thought we were getting an announcement. We haven't yet. This is getting frustrating. We're piecing out. I feel like I've seen that quite a bit, and I understand that. And then from this Magic Awaken, I think there's a very big community out there, and especially, you guys even just watching my videos, there's a good amount of us, and this game isn't even announced yet. All there were leaks about it, that this is a possible thing that's out, and I'm so happy that you guys are even watching these videos talking about a game that technically doesn't exist, that by its own publisher has not said that it's real. So this is a testament to us, honestly, guys. But I can feel that you guys are also getting kind of restless, where it's like, hey, it was E3 or bust, it was July or bust. Is it Gamescom or bust? Because here's the thing, if we come out of Gamescom and we get the next Arkham game, I feel like there's hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel for Harry Potter Magic Awaken, because I feel like that's next. And I feel like that's not too far behind the next Batman game. Maybe not in terms of release date, I think that's like a year afterwards, but in terms of announcing it, I think it would be a little bit closer than people think. I think people think that this game isn't going to get announced till maybe E3 of 2020. Sure, that's definitely possible, but there's a lot of time in between them. There's Gamescom, and if they choose Harry Potter, I think I'd be very worried about this Batman game, 100%. But you have Gamescom, you have the Game Awards, you have all the months in between. Again, Warner Bros. Is a big publisher. Their games are very, very popular. Their studios are well recognized. This is a game, especially because it's got the Harry Potter kind of thing behind it, this is a game that can stand on its own 2 legs. You can announce this game any day of any week of any month, and it will become the #1 news story of that day and week and possibly month. It really can. It can be announced in October and be in the news cycle with the games releasing. That's totally fine. Same thing with November. It can do it. So you have all those options, and then when you get into next year, maybe it shows up at PSX. Maybe PSX works out a deal with them. Maybe PlayStation Experience, if it happens in 2019, maybe it's there. Point is, there's a lot of chances left for this game to still be announced. I've seen a lot of people saying, well, maybe it was just canceled, maybe it was a last-ditch effort to get people to know about it. I 100% disagree. I get it. I respect your opinion. I really honestly do. I just don't agree. I think that this is a game that is 100% real. I think the leaks just are too much. I think Warner Bros. Deleting the gameplay and taking down videos talking about this game is totally happening. People are making this game. I think it's not ready to be announced yet. The leaks came out prematurely when they really shouldn't have, and now people are very excited for it, and now we just have to wait longer than we thought. Especially when it came out, I think we all thought that an announcement of the game was like imminent, right? That would be out within the next couple weeks, that we would get an announcement of it. We haven't. We're almost at a year now, and maybe this was the fall that they intended to talk about this game, and it just got leaked way too early for them. But I have hope. I have hope that in Gamescom we're going to get one of these two announcements. Honestly, I'm thinking it's going to be Arkham, and it's not going to be Harry Potter. But again, that doesn't mean much, because I think that then opens the Game Awards to be Magic Awakened. But guys, let me know in the comments below. Do you follow that? Do you agree with what I'm saying, or do you think, something different, or are you just flat out done with Magic Awakened until it releases or until it even gets announced? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit that bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up, and thank you as always for watching. I hope to see you on the next video.